Hey, what's going on, CoinOpTV subscribers? Robert Welkner here. In this video, I want to talk about The Morning Show, which is the brand new flagship TV show on Apple TV Plus, which is a monthly $5 subscription. But for me, and a lot of us who bought new Apple products this year, we actually get it free for a year. And so I thought, hey, you know what? I'll dive in and check out and see what some of these shows look like and make some YouTube videos reviewing them, talking about them. Now, the first couple minutes of this won't be spoilery, but then I'm going to get into the spoilers and the plot points and the character developments as we go along, because I want to make this kind of a community video where if you've seen the show, you can kind of tell me what your thoughts and reactions are, and I can kind of share what my thoughts and reactions are. So with that, let's get started. The Morning Show, of course, stars Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, and Steve Carell. It is a story that revolves around a very popular morning TV talk show with a couple of anchors there talking about the news and also about the production, the behind the scenes, the producers, the management, the executives. It's a fictitious TV morning show there. Most of the plot details, of course, have been revealed in the trailers so far. So if you've seen that, there's no surprises at all with the first episode. In fact, most of the trailer feels like it is the first episode. We learn that Mitch and Alex have been America's favorite co-hosts for over 15 years. And Mitch is currently in hot water due to accusations surrounding him about sexual misconduct in the workplace, a sensitive and current topic as part of the Me Too movement, of course. So this show is very topical, very current. In fact, it feels like a lot of the stuff is lifted directly from real life news story elements and put directly into a screenplay. It almost feels too current in a way. We also meet Bradley, played by Reese Witherspoon, who's a small-town news reporter who suddenly becomes a viral sensation after making a public display at a coal demonstration. Of course, this magically swoops her into the limelight as a guest on The Morning Show, where it is hinted that she'll be around as maybe a mainstay on the show. Of course, again, all of this is kind of carried over from the trailer if you've seen that. So, okay, so let's talk details and spoilers now about episode 1 and my thoughts and reactions. First up, the show looks nice. It looks pretty. It's not over stylized. It looks kind of like basic TV. There's a lot of cussing in it. Many of us kind of thought that these Apple TV Plus shows were going to be very toned down and PG. A lot of cussing, and there are adult themes to things. So, be warned on that if you have sensitive ears. All the cast is very clever. Jennifer Aniston, I haven't really seen her act much seriously. I mean, Friends, it was a kind of comedic role, and that was many years ago, so it's interesting to see her acting serious. Of course, Reese Witherspoon and Steve Carell are carrying themselves well, although I think their performances are a little overextenuated there. They're melodramatic with their kind of performances. At least Jennifer Aniston is a little more understated. So, all right, so let's get to like kind of the spoilers and things going on with episode 1 here. So we find out at the end that Mitch and Alex actually had an affair a couple of times in the past, and it's also inferred that the studio head, Corey, played by Billy Crudup, may have his own agenda in store for Reese Witherspoon's character, Bradley, when he phones her up suddenly and invites her out for a drink and almost blatantly suggests that her future may depend on it if she shows up or not. I mean, this is all the Me Too and the sex in the workplace and romance and predatory kind of things is all kind of swirling and circling around with multiple characters in the show, whether it's out in the open or behind closed doors. So we got a little bit of a taste of what's to come for the rest of the series in this. As far as episode 1 goes, I thought it was a little bland, a little over the top, felt very rushed. But I thought, you know what, gotta click over to episode 2 and see what that is. So episode 1, of course, was called In the Dark Night of the Soul. It's always 3:30 in the morning, because when the news reporters get up, it's like they're looking at their clock, 3:30 in the morning. Now, episode 2 is called A Seat at the Table. These episodes are all about 50 minutes long, so they're not too crazy to blast through, 3 of them. It's kind of like watching a little mini movie. So episode 2, Bradley Jackson, played by Reese Witherspoon's character, is further pulled into the network by the studio head. At the end of the episode, Alex announces at her gala event that Bradley will be her new host of the show. We're starting to see a little more of dynamics of the power plays in motion. Alex feels like she's the face and the voice of America on the morning show and has a lot of power, whereas the TV executives feel like maybe the situation with Mitch being in hot water will translate into an opportunity for them to find some fresh faces on screen, fill the chair. They keep talking about the chair, fill the seat, the chair, put a new anchor in there. So we'll kind of see how that develops. Let's see. Also in this episode, we see that the weather guy and one of the PAs are fooling around and openly talking about hiding their relationship from HR. Of course, we're swirling deeper and deeper into sex in the workplace. That's the hot topic here, and what's consensual, what's non-consensual, what the gray areas are, what the black and white areas are. That's kind of what the show is really all about. At least, thus far in the first 3 episodes here. And then we get a meeting between Mitch and Chip, the executive producer of the show, which basically sort of outlines all the dramatics at play here, at what's going on with the struggles of being accused of sexual misconduct with Mitch, his character, and the behind the scenes of all that. There's also a subplot that forms in episode 2 when one of the show segment producers reaches out to one of Mitch's Me Too accusers and tries to convince her to come on the morning show to tell her story. First of all, this would never happen in real life because once an accusation goes out there against a famous, anchor of a TV show, the network has a lot at stake here. There's a lot of legal and HR and the ramifications here. And there's going to be some sort of lawsuit happening. So there's no way that the accuser of somebody is going to go on the actual network of the show that she's accusing, because that's going to be sort of a biased thing happening. So that was totally far-fetched and left field and seemed very silly with the episode. So episode 2, we're getting, the pace is quickening, it's speeding up, rapid fire, a lot more things happening, a lot more things opening up. I don't know if it was more enjoyable than the first episode or the second episode, but at least when it got to the 3rd episode, I started to enjoy things a little more. So let's talk about episode 3, which is called Chaos is the New Cocaine, one of the lines that Corey, one of the VP guys of the network, says. So in this episode here, in episode 3, we got more fallout from Alex's announcement to Bradley joining her on the morning show. So that's sort of the way episode 2 ends. Alex pretty much, she's at a gala and getting honored, and she announces that, hey, you know what? You guys are messing with me, I'm going to mess with you, and I'm going to announce that Bradley is my new co-host. It shocks everybody. So there's fallout of that, and we'll see how that sort of plays out. It's a little unsure whether or not Alex is being sincere or she's trying to do a power play. I mean, I think there's kind of a little bit of both at work here. We also get a great little short scene with Martin Short, who's playing tennis with Mitch, and they have a little bit of a conversation there, and we sort of see maybe different levels of Me Too accusations. There's another scene with Alex and her ex-husband. She's sort of breaking down. The pressure's forming. It's hard for her to face the public, face the executives at the network. Her coworkers are leaking stories about her to other places, and she's very caught up in things. We even find out more that her relationship is phony and it's all a facade with her and her ex-husband. I believe they're exes. And we also get some more with Corey, played by Billy Crudup. I gotta say, even though Billy Crudup Corey is kind of like one of the bad guys of the show, he's kind of the guy I'm the most interested in watching more of. I mean, whatever he says and does is unpredictable. You never quite know what's going to happen. Billy Crudup is playing it well. He's got sort of a strange, quirky tone to it that actually reminds me of some of my former bosses, out there in TV production and production land. So I'm finding his character to be interesting. Now, Corey takes even more of a hands-on approach with Bradley, takes her out clothes shopping, and even asks her if she's single. So there's more insinuations here whether or not Bradley may get chased after by Corey, or if his intentions are just to kind of shake up things at the network and the show there. So I will say this about episode 3. It calms down way more than episodes 1 and 2. We get to see some scenes, some one-on-one scenes with some characters. There's a little more development with backstory and character story and development like that. We get to sort of jump into the characters' heads a little more in episode 3. So if you watch episodes 1 and 2 only, or just 1, probably not going to get hooked on the show. But if you make it to episode 3, I think you're going to see a little more of a deep dive, a little more of an angle of where the show is trying to go with kind of pushing that gray area, truth and non-truths and things like that. Let me see. So we get to chew on more fat in episode 3. Bradley, of course, becomes more aware of the situation, confronts Alex at the end there, and the two become mortal enemies, or will they find a way to work together, is sort of where things leave off with episode 3 of the morning show. So there's kind of some of my thoughts and reactions. I tried to kind of write down, take some notes, and also kind of just go off the cuff a little bit here to share my thoughts and reactions. So hopefully things I said haven't offended or upset anybody. Clearly we're talking about a fake show with news and current events happening as we speak. So much respect to all in the real world involved in these matters. So I guess that's it for this episode. I'm trying to decide which I'll watch next. If I'll watch For All Mankind, or See, or maybe one of the lighthearted shows there on Apple TV Plus and talk about that. We'll see how things go. Let me know in the comments below for CoinOpTV. We'll see you guys next time.